8:28 here on the Breakfast Club. Bryan Angus, Bill Hayes. Just really nice to have a guy that we've had a lot of respect for way too long in our lives, Billy and I both, and everyone else in the media side of things. Bob Obilovich is finally hanging him up after 50 years in the league, and Obi joins us now from his home. Hi, Obi.
Hi, good morning.
You know, we were talking off the air. Apparently, the first thing you're going to do in your retirement is get in on this whole Twitter thing and set up your Twitter account.
I don't think so. I'm not that keen about doing that. I think the technology's got some great advantages for a lot of different reasons, but I think it also creates some problems for a lot of different reasons. So, no, I'm not into that. I won't be doing that sort of thing.
You've come a long way from Sweet Dahlberg Field and South Montana Street, haven't you?
Yeah, no, it's been an amazing journey. I know God had his hand on me for many years, even before I became a Christian, and it's amazing all the things that have happened in my life up to this point in time.
When you came up here in '63 from Montana, did you think for a moment that this was going to be your destination in life? Because the things were different back then. Right? People did come up here and really become a part of communities. We don't see that as much in the CFL anymore.
No, I had no idea. I mean, at the time I was a young guy and I was just trying to find a home as a pro football player, and Ottawa provided me with that opportunity, and little did I know that, 50 years later, I would have had the career that I've had with the Canadian Football League. So, no, I had no idea at the time. It was just the way things go. I mean, I was living out my dream of wanting to be a pro football player, and one thing led to another once I finished playing, and I stayed here. In those years, when you first came into the CFL, players used to, because we used to practice later in the day, they used to do it on purpose to allow players to hold a full-time job as well as playing football. And that's how I actually got my start in coaching and teaching, because I was playing, and you were able to do those things, and that probably got me started earlier in my coaching career than not if I hadn't had that opportunity.
Young people listening to us right now would never believe you could actually make more money in the CFL than you could in the NFL in the early days. I know Granny Liggins tells a story all the time about why he came up here after being an all-star player down in Oklahoma. And someone said, we'll give you $13,000 to play in the NFL, and the guys up in Calgary said, we'll put $15,000 in your pocket to start with. And he said, I'm on my way.
No, that was true back in those days. When I came to Ottawa actually bettered the contract that the Minnesota Vikings had offered me, and I got a signing bonus as well. So that was true. That things at that time, the league was more established probably, and healthier, and the NFL was just starting to make its way.
When you came up here, you did Ottawa. You were the Argos head coach, general manager. BC, same thing. General manager in Hamilton. Do you regret the cities you missed?
No, there's only a few. I mean, I had an opportunity to work in a lot of great places and meet some great people, and like to think that every team I was associated with, that I left it better than it was when I first got there. So I wasn't trying to set a record and work for every team. I'd have to live to be 100 to do that.
Well, having said that, Obi, where do you consider home?
My home right now, I have a special place in my heart for Montana, just like Ottawa, because of all of the special things that happened to me in Ottawa with my career starting there as a player and a coach, and my family. All my wife and our children are all Ottawa natives, and Montana was the grassroots of my upbringing, and I was taught so many positive things as an athlete there growing up that carried over even to my present life. So I consider Canada my home now, and especially we've been living in the Oakville area, I think, since 1998, and our kids are well settled here, and now we got 2 young grandchildren, so this is home for me.
Oh, I can see that's a big deal.
You're Don Cherry's neighbor, aren't you?
Yeah, actually, he moved. We both lived just off of Mississauga Road years ago. I moved in, I think, with my family in June, and I think he and Rose came about September, and we had the same real estate agent at the time. That's how we met. And then when I came back to Toronto, and then ended up relocating down here in Oakville, I think Don's just across Winston Churchill. He's still considered in Mississauga. When you go west of Winston Churchill, that's considered, being in the other area.
Well, he's coming up next at 8:40, so we'll tell him you were talking about it.
I gotta ask you. I did not know you also spent some time as a basketball coach.
Well, I went to college on a basketball scholarship, and
holy mackerel!
It was a very close game, a game that I grew to love, and it meant a lot to me and helped me to get an education. And while I was at the University of Montana, I ended up playing football and baseball as well. So that's how it all kind of started from an athletic standpoint. But from a professional standpoint, I had a much better chance at 5'10", 180 to be a defensive back in football than I did to being a point guard in basketball. So.
Yeah, I was going to say, I can't see you playing with your back to the basket, in today's game. Listen, my friend, none of us are getting any younger, sadly. Are you happy with where you're at right now with retiring? Because a lot of us, we just don't want to let go. And sometimes people want to run into retirement and can't wait to get started, and others don't want to go. Are you happy with this?
Well, I think I wasn't happy the way it ended because last season was a very frustrating year for me, where I was sitting and we had one of those years as a team where nothing seemed to go right, and we lost a lot of close games that could have easily won, and all those kind of things. And so I mean, it's unfortunate that it had to come to this now after those circumstances, but. No, I am content where I am right now. I just feel like it's time now to spend a little more quality time with my family. When you're immersed in the business of football, you try to be there for your family, and actually the family becomes part of it. And but at the same time, there's times when you just don't have time to do some of the other things you probably should be doing from a family standpoint. So I'm looking forward to having the extra time now and to spend some quality time with my 2 grandsons, and then we'll see what happens. I mean, I may be getting older, but I'm not feeling any older.
You look well.
Yeah, you do look. I wonder, would you maybe end up doing some special projects if you were asked by someone to do something here, there, and everywhere?
I think there may be things out there, maybe not even related to football. I mean, like Bill, I mean, I've done the broadcast stuff, and I've done a lot of other things in my life, and my children continually tell me that we should get a reality show, a coach's reality show for our family, and I say I don't think so.
Oh, but listen, it's 8:37. You've been a football guy. I know that you spent many. I've contacted you on your cell phone when you've been at the Senior Bowl and at combines and all over the place. You scouted damn near every player that there is out there playing. Tell me your thoughts, if you could, just your 10 cents worth on the fairy tale year that was the Baltimore Ravens.
I think it was a great year for them. The things went west. But, last few years, it seems like even in our league this year, the Argonauts are an example of it, that when teams get hot at the right time in the playoffs, I mean, that's the key time to get a winning streak, and that's what they did. And the 2 years before, the teams that won did the same thing. So I was happy because I don't know if you saw the tribute they gave to O.J. Brigance. Some of the
I did, yeah. Sad story.
Well, O.J. is a player I brought to Canada when I was with the BC Lions, and I gave him his first opportunity to play pro football when I was out there. And he's just a super person. I mean, that just makes you sick to see the condition he's in right now. But his spirit is so uplifting and inspiring for everybody, and you could see that with how the Baltimore organization feels about him. So my heart was with the Ravens in the game. I kind of thought that the 49ers might have had a little more talent, but in the end, they were able to hang in there and find a way to win, and it was a great game. It was fun to watch. I don't know who planned the blackout, but that seemed to help the 49ers.
Oh, sure. I'll bet you. Yeah, a whole lot of money changed hands there. You know what? No one had an over-under on a blackout. All those prop bets you can get, nobody had that.
By the way, the authorities that came out today to debunk the thought that it was Beyonce or perhaps something in her act that led to it. They've said that she's free and clear. There's no indication she was responsible at all. There's a picture of you, a lovely picture in the paper this morning, Obi. 1983, after you won the Grey Cup at BC Place in Vancouver. I'm assuming that's right there with the highlights in your career.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, that was such a special year, and the year before, my first year as a head coach with the Argonauts, we went to the Grey Cup then and lost to Edmonton, and Toronto fans hadn't had a winning football team there for so long that season it was amazing to me. I still will never forget that the city had a parade for us just for being the finalists of the Grey Cup. So I remember telling our players after the parade, and then again going into the following season, 1983, that you can imagine what this city's going to be like, how they're going to respond when we win the Grey Cup. And lo and behold, we won it the very next year, and I don't think Toronto's ever had a victory celebration, a parade like that was that day, because I think there was over 60,000 people.
Yeah, it was a very.
I remember when that happened. I remember the cars going by me honking horns at Young and Lawrence. I'll never forget it. Obi, listen, thanks an awful lot for not just this, but for all your time in the league and all the memories you helped us accrue through during that time. All the best in this, and I'm sure we'll hear more from you.
Well, I appreciate you calling, and thanks very much for your kind words, and have a good day.
Okay, Obi. Well, and Obi, as we let you go, you have one more shot to get back at someone. Who is it that did, over all the years, has done the best impersonation of your voice? There's been a lot, hasn't there?
Well, you know what? There was one of the guys there. I can't remember who it was, but I did hear once. People told me he was always impersonating me, and I finally heard him one day, and he was pretty good, but I can't remember his name.
Well, that's what happens when you get old, Obi.
He was there on your station.
Thanks an awful lot for this. You take care.
Okay, have a good day.
What a great guy. And you know, one of the things about him is I can't even remember anybody saying a bad word about him. We got to take a break. Grapes coming up next. It's the Breakfast Club, Nextsportstar.